Hello, everybody, and welcome to the new episode of Game Dev is Not Easy. And on this episode, I have a very special guest, Vidas. Hi.
Hi. Hi, thanks for having me.
Welcome to Game Dev is Not Easy. You must have heard of Vidas if you were playing indie horror games for maybe in the past 10 years. He's one of the oldest names in the scene, not as an age, but he's one of the first people to actually get into indie horror making, and this is an exciting conversation for me. Vidas, would you like to? I mean, I pretty much said why you're here, but would you like to introduce yourself and tell the listeners who you are, what you have been doing, what are you doing these days?
Well, now I feel old, but yeah, I'm Vidas. I make indie horror games since about 2014, starting with Timore series. And I've made many games over the years, probably over 50 now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the newest, I suppose, edition that's been really popular with the fans. It's Clown is Hungry, which is way different than what I started with the comedy and just really silly approach to it.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah, it doesn't take itself seriously at all, and I just went with that, just all the jokes and having community involved with coming up with various like pizzas in the game. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, you are one of the first people who actually started making indie horror games when it wasn't as popular as now. It was still, a lively genre, I guess, but people weren't interested in it as much. It wasn't as financially reliable as now, I guess. So you started in 2014. How old were you when you first released your first game?
Like 18 or 19.
Okay. And
Yeah.
how did you get into game development? Like, do you have a background in game development, or was it just a hobby back in the day?
No, no background. I didn't even play horror games. I had no idea about Silent Hill, let's say. And I feel like a lot of players or other developers are way more equipped in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
And I discovered a lot of things later on. I started I suppose I was just playing a lot of games. And then I got bored of playing games, and I was thinking I should try and make something myself. And it was really hard to figure out how to do things back then, as well as not being good in English at all at the time. So the tutorials didn't make sense, and uh, like I couldn't really read documentation. The tutorials were like hard to understand. But anyway, I made some scares. I made some loud noises types of games. That's how it started. And also, I was influenced by just starting to watch PewDiePie or Markiplier at the time. It was really funny for me to see them jump from jump scares and scream. And it just started as something, just this type of entertainment, seeing other people get such reactions. So yeah, anyway, I started just to make a few Timore games at the beginning, and was just learning over time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now it's been 10 or 11 years. Um,
Yeah, and
and it
you
kind
said
of,
you said that
yeah, go on.
you like it's funny that you said the community was involved in the making of Clown is Hungry, and back in the day when you were first making your game, you were also inspired by the community and the community of content creators, I guess, playing games and reacting to them. So it's like a full circle moment that you always included community in a way in your games.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's always fun to watch videos of people playing my games or other games, see what people like or dislike. Um, and at the same time, over the years, I feel like I really followed what people are saying, like generally what I agree with at least. It seemed like the jump scare games at the beginning did really well for content creators, or just to get reactions, or just have like a half an hour fun scary experience like that with nothing too serious, I suppose. And then I started to get more feedback on lack of story, or it's just cheap jump scares, and then I started to learn more about what can I do, what kind of stories I can bring in. Yeah, and just learned over time. And now, as you said, in the Clown is Hungry, the game took a while to make, but I just wanted to make it as silly as possible and also make it scary, separate those two somehow and fit into one, and involve the community with the different pizza toppings or just some idea. Someone says something silly, and I'm just like, you got it. I'm just putting this in. I'm gonna make it happen. Um, so it's fun to just have people interested in these games, and I guess to just make friends along the way as well.
Yeah. And going back to then the first Timore, that was I guess the first one to release. You said you didn't have any background in gaming, and what were you doing at the time? Were you just, I mean, I guess you were young, and I'm assuming you were living with your family, right?
Yeah, I was finishing school and going to university for programming, so computers. This was just a hobby. I didn't know how to program. I didn't really have anyone around me who was programming, so it's just from the internet.
Sorry, go ahead.
And then the horror side of things, or horror games, it's also discovering through internet a lot of indie games, or the big ones, the Silent Hills and stuff. Yeah, most I've played was Resident Evil 4. That was like pretty much the one horror game I was playing the most, and Slender was too scary for me. The movies like The Ring or Grudge gave me serious nightmares as a kid. So I was kind of staying away from those things, but then I learned over, like when I started to make games, I really dig into what I've missed, really.
And that was interesting that you said that when you first started learning game dev, because you're self-taught, you learned by yourself. You said that not speaking English was a big challenge for you, which I understand. I also grew up not speaking English. It was something that I learned afterwards. So how else did it happen? Like, was it just trial and error, or by chance you found some non-English tutorials? Like, how did you actually just start learning game dev? Like, how did your first month look like, for example? Were you just lost in the sauce, just trying to figure out everything, or did you find a way to at least start learning?
Good question. I'm not sure now. I was watching tutorials on YouTube mostly. It was in English, yeah. I understood some things, and then I was mainly looking at the 3D modeling stuff, how to use certain tools. So mostly it was me looking at how things are being done in the software and then copying it myself, or just trying to use those tools and what I need for my game. And the programming wasn't as difficult. Like, it was difficult for me, but it wasn't anything really complicated, as in like programming a jump scare making something appear in front of you and playing a sound, pretty much, like 2 lines of code. So I guess I figured out that much with my broken English, and managed to make it into a game. And I think like programming a menu was like the biggest challenge, because that was like the most programming to make buttons interactable and such. And then some years later, when I finished programming at college, it really gave me good basics on programming. So I noticed how it became really much easier to program and make games after I learned all that. Yeah, but that was quite some years later, not at the very beginning. Yeah, it started pretty much very kind of with a lot of trouble, with a lot of problems. And I think the first 3 games or 2 games were very similar, and then the third one was more with more mechanics. There was a maze and items and such. So I kind of challenged myself to do more gameplay, add more story. But yeah, it was early days as well.
But that shows too, like when someone looks at your big game library, and if someone to play all of them from the beginning, it's so actually easy to notice that you kept developing them by adding new things and more things and more things. And like when you look at Clown is Hungry now, you can see like the culmination of everything that you learned over the years, and it's all in this game now. But that brings me back to the language part again. Like accessibility is actually such a thing that we take for guaranteed today, that we don't even notice how important it is actually for everything, and game development too. Because I always say that game development, making games isn't easier now, but it's more accessible. And that's, I think, so important, especially to learn game dev by yourself. Because I don't know how effective it is to learn game dev at a school, right? I'm not really sure. I haven't done it, and I don't really know anybody that did it successfully. But it's all self-taught, and just not having the material in your language in a way that you understand is such a big, I guess, something that's missing, that's been missing in the past. But nowadays, yeah, you have all these language models. You have these translations, AI generated translations, and everything. Even YouTube has dubbing now, not just subbing but dubbing. So it's so easy to just understand at least the materials. That's why we have game developers from Latin America now, Middle East, all these other places other than the Western side of the world, who have been running the games industry for a long time. But now that's changing, and it's fascinating to see.
Yeah. It's now easier with the, as you said, the subtitles on YouTube. Even that it allows me to watch some gameplay videos from people who are talking like German, for example. And I can understand the whole video just from reading the subtitles, or if there's dubbing now. That's kind of crazy too.
Yeah, just builds that bridge that we've been missing for years.
Yeah. Yeah, now it's probably easier to learn game development. If you're not speaking English, you can translate everything you need to any language.
And okay, so about Timore, so I remember I also saw Timore from Markiplier or PewDiePie, maybe both of them, and I even sent you my video of playing it back in the day when I first tried content creation from a small town in Turkey, trying to speak with my broken English. So was Timora did it just get explored, discovered by these people, like your first game, and then these people start playing? Did it happen like that, or at that point did you already have multiple games, or was it just like, yeah, I made Timore and these people are already playing it?
Yeah, pretty much. Timore is my first game. Yeah, it was on Game Jolt at the time. Well, still is, but that was where indie games or indie horror games, I think, were published most.
Mhm.
That was the most popular place, I think.
And how did they discover it? Like social media, I
It just
guess.
got no. I didn't have any
Yeah,
marketing or
that's what I
anything.
was getting at. Yeah, how did that happen?
Um, there's I suppose popularity, some sort of thing going on there. Um, some people picked it up and it got like kind of pushed more to the front page of that. I suppose I think it's similar now on itch.io.
Yeah.
And there weren't that many horror games then, so pretty much all horror games were picked up by all the content creators. And then Timori just climbed on the Game Child front page kind of easily. I don't know. People like jump scares, I suppose. It was
Oh
great
yeah.
for content. Um, so yeah, that's just it, people just enjoyed that at the time, and the big content creators picked it up to play as well. It was kind of simple as that. I feel like nowadays it's much more difficult to do that. Although I think itch.io provides a good service with the just showing indie games, indie horror games. Everyone kind of gets a chance to show up at the front page for at least a little bit, and then have a chance
Mhm.
at finding their players and content creators.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but there was no like secret marketing or anything. Like I didn't know anything about it anyway. Um, yeah, and it just started that on Game Jolt, and then over time as well, it switched to itch.io. I think now everyone's on itch.io and Steam for new demos and or free games, short ones. Um, yeah.
Yeah, the good thing about horror, I guess, like it is, you could say that it is oversaturated. There's a lot of people making horror games, but the other good thing about horror games is that they're usually short, and when people are done with a horror game, they are looking for another one similar to it or something different. So there's always a market for people, market with people who are looking for horror games. Obviously, not just like the cheap stuff, just the easy stuff, but people are looking for like good games that are gonna stick with them, even if they're like, say, 5 minutes long. If it sticks with you, it sticks with you. And I think, in a way, that's why itch is so valuable, because it shows you the popular games, but after a while, you're like, I mean, it happens to me. After a while, I'm like, okay, I played all of these now, and I need something new. Then I can just go to the new games page and just find new stuff and try them out. So it's a really good, actually, a community building tool, I guess.
Yeah, and whoever is starting to make games, they can just publish them there and see what people uh, say about those games. What did they like? Get some feedback, and get quite a big audience just like that. Um, yeah, and then for the other indie games or studios, it's also good to just share your demos in there, so people have free games to play. But at the same time, if they like it, they can go to like Steam wishlist and stuff like that. It's pretty much a great place for everyone somehow. It's like combines all types of players and uh, gives opportunities for all kinds of developers at the same time.
Yeah. It has its shortcomings sometimes, but those are things that we can ignore because it's such a good platform. And what about then Steam? What was your first game uh, to debut on Steam?
I think it was Timore Inferno, which was my 4th game, I think,
And
or 5th.
how was your experience with that?
It went like pretty much this. I dropped out of university because I was like, I don't like this. I'm gonna make games, and I haven't sold anything yet. Like at that moment, it was kind of crazy when you think about it. And then I thought, well, I have to make games that I would sell for money to make a living or do something with my life. So I started with the Timore Inferno, and Steam had the green light system at the time, so you have to get some votes from the players, and only then you might get approved to release on Steam. Yeah, so the market was much smaller. Not everyone got approved, so but I got lucky, or I had enough fans who wanted to see this. So I released that game on Steam, and a few months later was Timore 5 as well. So that's how I started with Steam, and later on they changed the system to there's no longer that green light system for voting. No, like anyone can publish by paying a fee, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the beginning, and that was also another big loop with the community. How there was a lot more people who were not a fan of jump scares, and when you have to pay for them. So that was a fun experience to figure out what else can I do, how can I improve, so it's not something just cheap, but also at the same time, I think with Inferno, there was a lot of crazy things I did. People started calling my games surreal, and I was like, what does that even mean? With the huge like teeth hallways and TVs and weird monsters in it. So I think it was good at the time how extreme both sides were. Like people either really liking the weirdness or really hating the jump scares, let's say. So it was not boring, at least. Yeah, that started with Steam with a couple games, and then I went into trying to make something different or just more complicated. I made a shooter over maybe 2.5 years, which was A Dream for Aaron, and it was kind of a roguelike. And just trying these different projects that are not Timore gave me like a kind of a sense of reality. How this is not gonna do as well as something that's like established and people already like. But at the so that's like how I could start learning how to market something new, let's say, or how to present it that or show people like something different. And at the same time, still, since I spent so much time on that game and it has a lot of monsters to shoot, a lot of guns, environments, I just practiced my 3D skills and especially animating, which I think got so much better. And now I can. I think that was like really valuable for me to just keep practicing, even though I wasn't thinking about it as practice. I was just making a game. I just continue talking now if that's stuff. If that's fine. It's yeah, and then at some point I came back to Timore just to make some new games because it was a while and I wanted to do something new. And then Timore 6 came about 2018, I think. And that's when I was really influenced by Silent Hill or the stories of Silent Hill or the kind of multiple layers to one story where something's real, something's in players, like only in their mind. The characters are experiencing different things, and it's maybe in reality it's not what you see. Yeah, that's kind of the beginning of the Steam journey.
And
Yeah.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all. I think I'm gonna like keep talking until you stop me, because I've made so many games. I could talk about each of all the games
No
individually.
worries. No
It
worries.
would take 3 days.
That's why we're here. But I wanted to ask, so you dropped out of the school and then you started selling your first game. How did you do that? Like, I mean, it's gonna maybe be a little too personal, but if I dropped out of the school and started doing something else, my mom would probably kill me. So you were still with family. You dropped out of school and started selling your first game. What was the reaction to that?
Well, yeah, that was quite a conversation. But my parents are supportive of me doing what I want to do. When I was growing up, there was always, if I want to go draw, they would bring me to all the classes for drawing or for music or whatever else. It's like whatever I want to learn, they would see the value in it and try to bring that to me. So even this was like, obviously they were not like happy of me dropping out after 3 months or so. But I said I'm gonna try doing this and maybe this works with game dev. But anyway, later on, about a year later, I think, or a year and a half, I went to a college, a different one anyway, for programming. So I guess I came back to the same like type of thing with the university, but it was different in that college. It was somehow didn't seem as depressing.
Good. Similar thing happened to me too. I dropped that. I had to drop out for financial reasons, and then I came back like 5-8 years later. Something around those times, and then I got my graduation. Took me a while, so I kind of get it. And then about Steam again. When did you start making just like I guess a significant amount of money? By significant, I mean for you right at that time. Like, when did you look at Steam and you were like, oh, damn, maybe I could make a living out of this? Did it happen with that first release, or was it afterwards?
Yeah, I think Timore did a lot for me, just in general. Starting with the first games being free and having so much luck of big content creators playing it, and then when it to Inferno, which was the fifth game and my first paid game. At first I put it on itch.io, and then I would like have to seek some sort of content creators and say, hey, maybe you would like to purchase my game. That was pretty much it. And I was like trying to make some sales like that, because I wasn't approved on Steam at the time yet. Was the green light system was still like in the process. So on itch.io I was like, hey, I made $5 today. Wow, great work. I'm gonna survive, I guess. Not really. So anyway, and when it came to Steam, when I finally released Timore Inferno, that was like, I think the first day was like $500. Like, it just looked like a miracle. I was like, okay, I can do this. I know I have to learn so much more, but it seems like there's people who are interested, and it seems like I can bring something new to indie horror in general. So it kind of, first game releases were pretty good financially, I would say. Obviously it like drops pretty fast. It's just like the first day, first week is like the most. Yeah, and it was like going in these waves for me. If I release Timore, then it's like doing well, and if I release something else, then it's not as good, and I'm like, oh, okay, I have to try and do more Timore, then, or I have to do something that people would like to see, the weird surrealism or something like that. So I would focus on, let's say, horror things generally, and then sometimes I would get inspired to do something else like a shooter, and it's not horror, and then I have to find a new audience for it almost. Yeah. So with Steam, it's I think it was really great back then to just find a lot of players, and especially with the smaller market, it was not as much competition, so it gave a good start. And it gave a lot of good feedback from the players as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I answered the question.
No, you did. If you compare it to today's Steam, where anybody can publish a game if they have $100, would you say it is easier to make a living off of Steam, or is it harder? Because one hand you have so many players and a bigger market, but on the other hand it's oversaturated as hell. What's your stance on that?
I think it was easier back then. Yeah, the competition now is way bigger. Mm. Now you're kind of either making a genius game that's gonna just spread itself, like everyone's gonna love it and tell their friends, or you have to figure out the marketing for your game. And back then I would just upload my game and tell my few friends, and that was it, and then I would do well. Now it doesn't work like that. Everyone's really focusing on the numbers, on the wish lists, on the marketing, or on trailers. Now I'm kind of changing the subject, but I feel like a lot of it is kind of lost on like, why are people doing this to begin with? It's like everything is a business, everything is numbers. But yeah, I think it was easier back then to just get a big audience, a lot of eyes on your game, especially if you want to sell it and make a living. Yeah.
This episode, as always, is sponsored by absolutely no one. If you'd like to support the show and help me afford better services to record the podcast, feel free to use the Ko-fi link below. Every donation helps the show, and supporters get their names featured at the end credits as a thank you. Anyways, thank you, bye. And sounds like, yeah, it is a pain point for you too, for me too. I think I'm not happy that game dev has turned into this big business. And I'm saying this as someone who has been working in game development for the last 10 years. I hate seeing it turn into this big business with these numbers and KPIs and marketing and social media and this and that. And I just miss making things for the sake of it. And to me, that's why your games are always fascinating, but because you look like you're making what you like, just like either silly things or you're using your own like quote unquote surreal art style. Like whenever I see a game from you, I can just tell that it's from you. It's either the sharp models or the red, really contrasted red colors. I can just tell that it's a game made by you, and I'm glad that you stuck with that. But is there are there any points or like times where you're like, man, you know what, I'm gonna make a different kind of game to make a lot of money, right? I'm gonna make a friend slop horror game. Do you ever get that urge to just do something just to sell, or do you just want to stick to your thing forever?
I think uh, I look at it kind of from the opposite side. If I do something else, then I might just not have any audience at all. There's no like friend slop games. I don't know what would I make that would just sell immediately millions. I don't. For some reason I'm feeling like if I would do that, then no one would be interested because that's not my thing. That's not what I'm doing. Um, but yeah, well, there's some things where I would try to figure out how to reach more players. Let's say, what can I do with my games that would do that? Um, but I think that just happens when I just get inspired by something specifically, and it's just a cool thing for me to do. Like I enjoy it, and that's pretty much it. um, at the time, Timore 5 was like quite different from the previous games. It was like in a house, and it was very gray, and I was mostly inspired by PT for that. The slow walking and the slow atmosphere, and very quiet sounds except for the jump scares. And yeah, I think this the type of trying to find trends or something. It's just instead of that, I just try to find something inspiring that I would find interesting or scary or just cool somehow, and just do that. Um, and then I think over the years, like there's certain points when I have like some sort of revelation in my mind or some sort of leveling up as a game developer. Like I realize something. I think with Clown is Hungry is like a big step up because it started as I'm gonna make some silly game about this scary clown and I'm just delivering a pizza and the protagonist is gonna make some stupid puns or something like holy pepperoni in every voice line or something, just making pizza jokes. And that was it. That was nothing. That was like what jump scares on some jokes like that. That's not good. That's not fun. Well, maybe it's fun for 5 minutes. But to make the whole game out of it, I was like, this feels empty and not that great for a longer time. So um, um, I really just thought, well, I wanted to make like a very short game at the beginning, and then I just thought, why don't I make this great? Why don't I make this the best thing I can make with the stupidest jokes that are actual jokes, not some brain rot stuff, but just some jokes that I would enjoy, and at the same time, I can make a scary game when it needs to be scary for like a couple chasing sequences or certain moments. So I think, but that was it was like um, a lot of research going into this to make everything the way that I think is best, and so the game is not boring at any point, from what I can at least tell. And figuring out different like clown or circus or funhouse aesthetics, different mini games that you can do, and at the end of the day, just bringing a lot of content, a lot of various content into the game that's in the same theme or in the same gameplay, and then also bringing in the food jokes or food inventory, pizza, uh, comedy into it, as well as gameplay, where you're making pizzas and then you have to make them and then you have to keep dropping them. Anyway, I'm going on a long tangent now.
It's all right, man. I personally enjoyed Clown is Hungry a lot, and I didn't think that I would because I don't like silly horror games that much. But that's not because of the silliness, but because I don't really resonate with a lot of humor in the industry right now. And it's partially because us millennials, I think we're so bad at writing jokes. Because I guess we grew up
Yeah.
with the whimsy humor of Marvel and Disney and all of that stuff. I think millennial writing is absolutely horrendous. But what I liked about Clown is Hungry is that the writing was actually like genuine, right? I can see that you weren't trying to be whimsy, sarcastic. It were just they were just funny, stupid jokes. Like I sent you the clip where I just heard the "Holy pepperoni" line. That was just insane to me. I was like, why is this so funny? And that's the best kind of horror. Like you don't understand why you're laughing at this so much. Uh,
Yeah, it's simple and it's not trying to, not millennial writing or humor, I think.
yeah.
Um, I don't know if that's right way to put it.
No,
Um,
definitely, yeah.
um, yeah, for the protagonist, I also that's kind of a very long way to go where I got the idea how to write the protagonist, let's say. But Devil May Cry 3 has a Dante that's fun to be around. And I just saw this idea, someone pointed it out, that why is he not annoying? Why people like him? And it's like he's fun to be around. He's not being a jerk or annoying about like everything or complaining. He's just fun to be around. So I was thinking, okay, I have to make this protagonist to be just fun to be around. She cannot complain about dropping all the pizzas. She like complains once when she drops like a second time. Like, are you serious? But I was very intentional that she's not being annoying to be around. And if something bad happens, she would make a joke out of it, or she would just react in some way that's entertaining for the player. So it's like I think in millennial writing, that's a lot where like characters might just start complaining, and then
Yeah.
then the player might get annoyed about that.
It's just the whimsy, the sarcasm, like there's just so much of it in contemporary writing these days.
Yeah, I suppose I tend to go back to older games to play some older games, and then it really feels like some fresh air. Um, although, yeah, these days there's great games, but there's a lot of just kind of weird this millennial writing, or just not thought out, or someone trying to make quick money. I don't know. It's all over the place. It's
Yeah.
not all bad though.
Yeah, what I usually say about writing, which was a thing that we spoke about in the previous episode, which will go live tomorrow. Uh, I was talking about how everybody tries to be a writer these days, but nobody reads at all. So everybody writes, but nobody reads, and that's I feel like one of the biggest problems in just creative industry and game dev too. Like it's not just about writing, but also about like playing games, right? You said that you played, for example, Silent Hill afterwards, even though you didn't play that in the past, but you played it later on, and now you have that knowledge with you, and you can like use that in your games. I think that's a very important part of creating something, that you gotta also consume whatever that creative thing that you're trying to make, to at least have some knowledge before trying to make something. It just
Yeah,
humbles you.
that's a great point. That's really, I think, not many developers do at all. They don't play the games that they were supposed to make, or just in a genre or any games. Uh, I play Plant of indie horror games, and it's always either I get inspired to do something, or just I notice some small detail that's like, this is what's making this game great. And you can learn from it so fast, whether it's like you find something awesome or you just find something boring, and then you can immediately point out what's boring or what's annoying you. Is it like too dark? Is it like the lighting is bad and you just annoys you to try to look for things? I think that happens a lot in horror games and my games as well, like in the past. And then playing both indie games and AAA games. Like every time I open something like Death Stranding, it's just like I'm immersed, and I don't know why, but then I can try to figure it out. And for horror games especially, it's like being immersed is very important. Comes from sound design, comes from the visuals and the story itself. But yeah, anyway, I think, yeah, as much as I've talked to developers, they're like, no, I don't play video games. I'm like, well, you're making them. How are you gonna know what's good, what's not good? What's like easy to understand for players? I hate getting lost in the game and like I don't know what to do for the longest time. And just from playing other games or playing my games a lot, or kind of testing everything, analyzing everything, it helps to just figure out how to guide players, how to make this interesting, how to write a good story. Not that I write good stories, I'm just saying in general, like trying to go in the right direction. Yeah, game developers, go play video games. Don't play like 24 hours a day, but like look something up, like it helps.
It's at the end of the day, it's also market research. Like if you want to make something in this industry and you want to make a living out of it, you have to know what people are playing and why they're playing. Like you, for example, sound like whenever you're playing a game, you're dissecting what makes the game click. When Death Stranding immerses you, you're trying to find the source of that immersion. Where's this coming from, and how can I, use this method in my game? And that's important. And that, yeah, not a lot of people do that, and that shows. Like whenever I play a horror game, this especially happens with slow psychological horror walking sims these days, and I'm just so bored out of my mind. It makes me question, do you even play your own game? It's clear that you don't play many horror games, but do you even play your own game? And it's just disheartening to see that we have so many creatives, and they either it's the hubris or they genuinely do not like horror games and are only in it for the money.
Yeah, I think there's another factor as well, how game developers, indie game developers trying to survive, and then it's almost like it's always crunch time. I have to finish this as fast as possible, so it's done. I can make the next thing, and otherwise I'm broke. I can't afford to pay my bills. That type of stuff. It's just going on constantly. So I think a lot of the time it gets to this automation process where it's like I have to make this jump scare, this sound, this environment, this character to say this at the right time. Credits roll, done. Like further thought, just release, and it's not good. It's like you have to iterate stuff. What I do as well is I write the whole plan for the whole game before I start making it, so I know where it's going, what's gonna happen. And without the plan as well, as you really run into burnouts really fast because you're stressing out about finishing this game, but you don't know what to do next. You haven't came up with the story yet. Yeah, it's just it's a difficult job to do, but I think if you do it right, you can manage it. Yeah. And make games that are just good or better than otherwise, and you just have to like stop and go back, and is this good? Am I bored playing my own game? It's is it annoying? Am I like, is something too difficult to do even for me as a developer? Like, how are people going to figure this out then? Yeah, like you said, there's a lot of games that are straight up just boring. Um, uh, some simple watching and nothing happens, and on top of that, the storytelling, quote unquote, is in the notes. You just read the notes. The game starts with like a long note to read. Okay, fine, but then like 2 minutes later, you find another note, and then you're sitting there reading, and then nothing happens. I don't know if does this sound good for content creators? Does this sound good for players or for yourself? Like I feel like who would have fun with this? Like it's, I don't know, just try to do something more different or extreme. Just have cheap jump steers instead. Like that's, at least we'll get some reactions. I don't know if it's like the fastest route someone's going. But yeah, I think it's also that there's a lot of these games, and then content creators play a lot of games like this too. So then new developers see this, oh, I could do this, or this looks easy enough to do. And then if it's easy, it doesn't mean it's like good or interesting or just
Anybody can
worthwhile.
do it if it's easy.
Yeah, I think that's also something that people run into a lot. It's just, oh, this looks easy, so I can do it. But why would you do it? Like, they don't think about it. Maybe it's just not good enough in the end. So, like, what's the point?
It comes back to just game dev being business versus passion. If you're passionate about what you're making, there's a good chance that it's going to resonate with people. Sure, it doesn't always happen, but mostly it happens if you're actually like making something that's going to resonate with people and you're sure that this is what you want to make. It at least resonates with a niche audience. Like it happens. But when it's too focused on just metrics and a checklist of things that you gotta put in your game. Okay, put a jump scare here, put a sound cue there, check this, check this, check this. It just ends up being a mishmash of a bunch of different elements that don't really fit well together. Like I said, like collecting notes. Whenever I complain about just the note picking in games, and I'm told, oh, because it's the cheapest way of doing it, and indie devs don't have much money. Yes, but you have creativity. You can surely think of something better than to just use notes.
Yeah, it would be great if every storytelling aspect would be full-on cutscenes with characters talking to each other, interacting.
Yeah.
It takes a lot more time and effort, of course, but that would be great. Like, why wouldn't you try and do that? It would be just, it would elevate your game so much more and would be interesting for you as a creator, or something to be proud of, and then for players to enjoy it and be immersed in the story itself. Yeah, I don't know if we're like talking crap about the industry now or what, but sure, I'll just keep going. Another thing that's annoying me.
Go for it. This is the space for
it's
it.
Like, it's we all know it's difficult out here, but like every game developer just keeps complaining about how hard it is. I'm like, stop complaining. You quit your job for this. Why are you complaining? Like, keep going. Like, enjoy it. Maybe it's like not everyone, but there's plenty of times when I open some sort of an interview or something, and I just get demotivated from successful developers talking about how they're making games. I end up depressed. Like, why is this happening? Why aren't you not more excited about your games?
Yeah.
I just made a game about clowns and pizza, and it's like the dumbest thing ever to me. But it's also entertaining, and I played the game like 1,000 times before releasing. And I'm not bored myself. It's I know everything exactly how it's gonna go in the game, every joke, every scare, but I'm like, I'm not bored of it. It's I don't know. Yeah, at the same time, I like smaller games, smaller horror games when it's like a watching sim with notes to collect, and uh, the developer himself is just bored to play it before release. Like, how is that a good sign?
Mhm.
Anyway,
No, I understand that. Like, I think going back to dogging on millennials, I think there's a big I hate my job culture in our generation, especially with game devs too. It's like, oh yeah, game dev, it sucks, but what can you do? We have to make a living somehow. And I feel like either they lost uh, they're lost in the sauce and just forgot why they started making games in the first place, or they just genuinely do not enjoy creating things and they should just pursue something else. I see that a lot too. Like, I noticed that especially in the last few years, I guess, where people are more open about their opinions on social media, and it's a trend to hate your job. I just see more and more people, they hate making games, but they keep making games, and then they hate gamers, right? You have that crowd too. Ah, yeah, gamers, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. It's like there's this hostility, and I don't know. It's strange for me to understand, and that's why I one of my goals when making this podcast is to just talk about these things, right? Now you're talking about how these people hate making games, right? They don't even play their games, and I hope that it's gonna show a newbie game dev to, be more motivated, be more passionate about making their thing, or just give up on it and look for something else while at the beginning of their career, because game dev is not always fun. It's not gonna be fun all the time, but you gotta remind yourself in those moments, like, yes, it's not fun now, but it's probably gonna be fun tomorrow. If
yeah,
if
yeah,
it's always unfun, if it's always miserable, then why are you doing it? You gotta ask that to yourself.
yeah. And I don't mean to be like a complainer about complainers. It's kind of
Or you're just
I
pointing
become one
something
as
out.
well. Yeah, I think it would be great if you just wake up in the morning and you just kind of tell to yourself or something that, like, I'm gonna have a great day making video games, and I'm gonna make some good games. I'm gonna make a small step in the progress of making my game.
Mm-hmm.
um, and you can make something that's not what you're supposed to do or what the industry is supposed to be, all the notes and scary, like, dark hallways with nothing happening. Like, you don't have to do boring stuff, you just do something exciting.
Mm-hmm.
It's there's so much possibility, you can do so many things.
Yeah.
And I think it's just really exciting to be able to make new games, new horror games, and find new ways how to bring the stories or come up with new types of scares for players to see, and uh, experiment with things. Um, yeah, another thing, I guess this is like a sidetrack from horror games, but I play guitar, so I always make music for my games, and now I made this music player on the menu, which, like in The Clown is Hungry, it plays this, what do you call it, electronic fun music. It's not horror at all, but like, I enjoy it.
It's
I think
there.
it's cool, and it's there. And then in the, like, it fits in the boss fight at the end. It fits in like a few
Mm-hmm.
cutscenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just, I think it's cool, and I just did it. Like, it's not much other than that. Um, yeah, anyway, I think it's just really exciting, and people forget to be excited about the
Mm-hmm.
work or the passion to do,
Yeah.
to make video games.
I think it's like, I understand that too. It's always about living, right? Like, nobody has great financial situations these days. Everybody's broke. I'm broke, uh, and we're all just trying to make a living out of the things that we like. And I understand having the financial concerns when trying to make something creative, right? Like we're saying that, okay, yeah, go enjoy the thing that you do. And then it's someone like working from 9 to 5 or maybe even longer. And he's like, yo, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
But
fair enough.
it's the unfair reality of like making games or making anything creative. Like before games, an artist would probably say the same thing to you. The unfortunate reality about making games is that until you can make it a sustainable business, you just have to work a full-time job. Like the same
Yeah,
goes for art, the same goes for content creation, streaming. You just gotta work a full-time job and just balance each other. It's unfair. It's definitely unfair and unfortunate, but it's one of those it is what it is situations. Like I'm trying to do the same thing, right? I'm working a full-time job, working side gigs, part-time gigs, and I'm trying to make content, make this podcast and do this and do that. It's all so overwhelming, but at the end of the day, it's the only thing that you can do. Either you stop and complain, or you try to keep going and just keep trying your best.
yeah. Maybe it's not like I want to say just, hey, be happy, and now everyone's gonna be happy. Maybe that's not the
I
point I'm
wish.
saying. I'm more saying like if you can be miserable and depressed and like for no reason, then you might as well be happy for no reason. Like, why don't you just try to be more excited? And otherwise, like, okay, fine, be unhappy while you make your game. Like, great. Like, how is that good for you?
How's that helping?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's helping at all. So it's
No,
just
yeah, I understand.
it's a mindset thing.
Yeah, I
And even
understand.
if it's like at the end of the day, after a whole work day, and you're tired, and then you have to like quote unquote have to make your game in the evening. Well, like, yeah, it's hard. That's what you have to do, and you better enjoy it. Like, maybe over time you will start to enjoy this more, and you see this game development as almost entertaining like factor for you instead of another 5 hours of work or something.
Yeah.
I find myself as well. Maybe it's after like 11 years of making games. I just find myself being more excited about making games, and more rarely it's about playing games. Like, maybe I'm tired after a whole day, and then I just want to relax. And sure, I'll play a video game, and then I'm like, I don't feel like it. Like, I would rather do this creative work, and that seems more exciting still. So it's not. I don't know. It doesn't have to be a torturous job. That's just my point. It there's a way. There's a way to be happy about everything, I think.
No, I understand. Yeah.
More positivity helps.
Yeah. And then kind of related, I guess. So you've been making games for a long time and you have so many games and you're kind of releasing these in relatively short amounts of time, maybe a year you take developing a game. Like I always see you at least twice a year announcing a new game or just straight up releasing it. And it's always
Yeah.
fascinating to me to see like how do you deal with that creative cadence? Like do you ever get burnt out? I mean, I guess we talked about it already, but I didn't really directly ask like are there any points where you're like, man, this is enough. I'm gonna stop for this year. This is enough for now. Or are you just in this constant creative mood where you're just sitting down and making things and scratching ideas? Like, how do you deal with this? How do you do this? What does your creative process look like?
Well, if you see my games twice a year, then I'm not doing my marketing right, because I make a game every month now, I think.
That's crazy.
Last month it was one game, and the month before that it was 3 or 4 games that month. Like Clown is Hungry came out, and then I made a short, like a psychological horror, Mosquito Face. That's the name of the
Yeah, I
game.
remember that one.
I put it on my Patreon, and then Queen of Cards. It's like a short game where it like asks you some questions and it tells you your future. That's like the premise. A lot of these are short ones, but yeah, I think it comes back to the same point I was making. If you just enjoy it, why stop? Like after a certain point, like this becomes as your entertainment or like creativity that you can. It occupies your free time and you enjoy it. The burnouts are usually if you have to get it done, like something finished on a deadline, and then it's just too much work to do, and you're trying to push it all. Like last week, you have to do like half the game in the remaining 1 week. Like it's gonna end up being a bit empty, a bit rushed, and then it's always stressing you out and just in your head, always thinking about the deadline instead of thinking about how to make the game the best it can be. And yeah, I try to not set deadlines for myself too much, but also I just try not to waste time and I just get to work and yeah, at the same time write a plan what I'm doing beforehand. So then when I'm not feeling like doing something, I just have to look at the plan or like a to-do list. It's just, okay, I'm doing this small part of the game now, and that's it. I don't have to think about everything else. The rest of the game is planned. I'll just do it afterwards. There's like these strategies or these tricks that are not really tricks on just being productive in general, and at the same combined with this just positive mindset. I don't know if that sounds cringy, but like just to be excited about what you're making. Whoever is like hating their work, they're not gonna work as much. So obviously there's not as much progress then. So it's just I feel like it becomes pretty logical once you figure those things out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just there's some idea for a game, and then I just start working on it, making the models, making sound effects and music and such, and it seems exciting to me. It seems just fun. There's always something silly about the game or something scary that I can share with the community. And then people get excited about it, which makes me more excited about making the game. So it's like I don't know, it works like that.
Yeah, I mean, it works. Your games are out there. There's so many of them. If people can just search your name on Google, they're going to find over 20 games easily. And you can just pick one up and play, and you'll notice that they're really different than each other, too. Like you said, you have this surreal art style, which you didn't even know that you had in the beginning. But they all have such like different kinds of themes and gameplays. It's they're all just different to play. It's not just it never feels like you're just playing the same thing over and over and over again from the same guy. And I think that's admirable. And yeah, I mean, like it doesn't really sound cringy to me. If you're positive about the work that you do, then it just becomes fun to do. Like it used to happen to me last year. I hated creating content. I stopped using horror visuals as often because Twitter was going to shit. Um, and then I just noticed that the problem was not with the productivity; it was with my day job. so I ended up quitting my day job and found something else that that resonated with me a lot more. And then now I'm like magically interested in creating content again, in making videos, and making something for the community on horror visuals again. Even though I still hate it because of Twitter, but what can you do? But yeah, it's all in the mindset, and in most cases, I notice that people don't realize that most of the problems stem from time management, right? Social media is such a big part of our lives. Like the screen time is such a big part of our lives. We don't even notice how much time we waste just looking and scrolling at things on like TikTok or Twitter, like valuable time that you can use to something else, to do something else. And in that point also, like making a list, making a plan, making a checklist, these are actually so important. Like they sound so redundant. They sound like, oh, duh, of course. But not a lot of people actually do these things, even though they sound so simple. Like not a lot of people make a checklist. They just say, oh yeah, it's in my head, I know what to do tomorrow, but you end up not doing it. um, I think these things sound really arbitrary, but I think they're very crucial for anybody who's trying to make something creative, whether it's game dev or art or whatever, just something creative on your own time. You have to make a good plan, work with people who will help you make those plans. It's really important.
Yeah. Yeah, all kinds of to-do lists that you just set for yourself, or the plan, what you're gonna do. Like maybe someday you're not feeling creative just that day. But you can just look at the to-do list, and it tells you what to do. You don't have to try to come up with some genius plot twist or something. You can keep doing progress on your project, and yeah. And at the same time, like there's this like positive mental thing going on, but at the same time, it's good to have like a work ethic, or develop something. Like maybe you have to force yourself to start working, but like yeah, sometimes it's just hard like that. But just developing this work ethic and trying to be positive, I think it's a good combo. And then making plans, making things that are exciting for you, and help yourself in the future, almost like with each project, setting up things so it's not going to be painful for you to go through it until the end.
Yeah. It's investment for future.
Yeah. And like you said, if you have a job that you're not excited about, like the day job, but that's like affecting your creative part of the day, yeah, that's probably a problem as well. That yeah, just everything in life, you have to like set things up so it's just good to you find the way to do things that you are excited about, and you're not miserable for no reason for your job. Like yeah, anyway. I'm a bit rambling, but
you're good. You're good. You like me, like you like to talk. I'm the same way. I usually try to stop myself, but I like talking, especially it's about something I'm passionate about. Well then, I guess coming back to you, what's next for you? Well, what are you making next? What are you working on now? What can people expect from you in the near future?
Now I started this project a couple years ago, and now I'm coming back to it. It's Vermilion Arcade. It's like a horror collection of 8 games.
Yeah, I remember that name.
And I made 4 short kind of introductions or demos for 4 of the games like a couple years ago, and then now I came back to it. I just released a demo on my Patreon yesterday. It's quite a big project to do, but I think it's exciting for me to just bring in various ideas and 8 games into one collection, and it's a huge project for someone who's just one developer. Yeah, so I'm working on this, and it's like this neon surreal arcade there's like 8 arcade machines that you get to play a game in each. They all have different horror games. In the demo I just released is the Insomnus Experiment, which is inspired by the Russian sleep experiment creepypasta. That's really disturbing, with the voice actors did such a killer job with the creepy voices and screams. It's kind of goes back to the jump scary roots a bit, but at the same time it's very high on atmosphere. Yeah, and so I'm just making this big collection at the moment. It's there's a Thanksgiving game, Gratiarum. There's a Christmas game that I have to finish as well.
Oh yeah, your
And there's
seasonal games too.
yeah, there's a couple of season holiday games. And one that was really exciting for players was Samantha Demo, which is a dating horror game.
I remember that.
Way different than what I'm usually doing. But I found out that there's so many new things you can do with different genres in horror. Just adding horror to it, it's just really cool to try and experiment. Anyway, I'm working on this whole huge project. I made a Patreon tier for if someone has an idea that they want to make into a game, but they're not a game developer, I can make a game with that idea. So one person joined and we're making something quite different and kind of crazy. That's not usual for me. I think I will have something to show maybe in a few weeks. And then I'm also making just another 50 different games as usual.
Yeah, when you were talking about Vermilion Arcade, I was thinking, this guy, of course, instead of making one game, he's gonna make 8 games in a single game.
Yeah, there's always something, like many projects going on, and I guess that's another trick to do as a developer. If you have a lot of projects and you're just work for an hour on one and then you get bored, you can just go to another one and then do this all day, and then at the end of the day you've worked 12 hours nonstop, which is over multiple projects, but you still did so much work. That's another kind of hack to do things. Maybe next year some Timore stuff, maybe, if I find the time after all this.
I wanted to play the remake for a while now. I should go do that. Go say hi to Timore again.
Yeah, say hi to the jump scares.
I remember that jump scare clear as day. One thing that I kind of forgot to ask you, now that we're close to ending the episode, you always solo develop your games, and you were great at it, right? You're working with great voice actors. You're doing the music yourself, everything by yourself. Have you ever thought about working with a publisher, or at least like even tried to work with a publisher, or were you always, no, I'm gonna stay independent, solo dev? Did that ever?
I have done a few projects. I did a couple games, however many years ago now, maybe 5 years ago, with Dreadex and Dreadex Collection 2. There's a game of mine and Dreadex Collection 4. And then last year, I made a game for Serafini Productions, Ghost Frequency. I think that's all that I've done with like different publishers. But I figured out how to do things kind of all by myself. I think it's good to just know everything yourself, just to know what you're looking at, what every part of the game has like supposed to be. One thing I'm not doing is voice acting. I let it do some other talented people. And at the same time, I did some collaboration with other developers. We made some small games, or some years ago, yeah, with Abby Smith, we made plenty of games. The Tale of Illusions. There was a Peekaboo collection of 3 games. There was quite a few games we were making and combining quite different ideas and different styles, and I think that was a interesting era, if I can call it, of more unique projects or just different ones. So yeah, I've done some collaboration. I've done a little bit of work with publishers. For now, I'm just releasing my games on Steam, and I'm doing a lot more on my Patreon now, which is just pretty much as soon as the game is done, I put it on Patreon and can like play immediately.
That's good too. Like, you are the only person other than Puppet Combo that I know who frequently uses Patreon to also like release their games, and I think it's working for you, right?
Yeah, it's like a different kind of approach. It's a more personal experience, I feel like, with the players. It's also nice to show the game to players before releasing on Steam. Sometimes they find something that I could fix or could improve, and they can bring their ideas to me. Like, they can be kind of part of this whole project, and it feels, I think, with Patreon, it feels more personal and more just more personal and exciting to talk to people like that are really into your games or this type of genre. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then another platform I didn't mention is I figured out how to release board games to Nintendo Switch. So it's really cool to.
Oh yeah.
It's like, just for me, just mentally, it's cool to play my game on this handheld or there's another console. And also bring these games to different people who maybe just use different platforms like Nintendo Switch, or they don't use PC or Steam per se.
That's a good point, actually. I forgot about that. You are releasing games on Switch, and a lot of devs that I know are hesitant on releasing on Switch because they think that there isn't an audience there for horror games. What do you think about that?
Well, from my experience, there is an audience. Whether it's just looking at the sales or just people sometimes message me saying, "Will you port this game to Nintendo Switch?" Because that's where we play the games, or that's where like people prefer to play the games. I think the bigger question mark for me is like whether there's an audience or not, but it's like it ended up being way more difficult to do the porting and all the publishing than I thought it would be. There's just a lot of optimization that needs to be done on the project, and a lot of different programming that needs to be done. For example, like the saving system is just I guess for developers, I use these Unity player prefs to save to do the game saves, saving like the levels or any like options they change. And then in Nintendo Switch, let's say it doesn't work. It needs to be a different system, or it needs to be, you have to use another tool and you have to figure it out. Anyway, so there's a lot of technical things that are really might be difficult to figure out, especially as a solo developer, as well as a bit of an investment to getting the dev kit. But then at the same time, it's there's no fee for releasing new games like it is on Steam. It's just a lot more approvals that you have to go through. But yeah. Anyway, I think it's worth it, and it's just there's big audience, especially now with Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah, I agree.
And just as many platforms as possible. Like if someone can release their games on other consoles, Xbox or PlayStation, like just go for everything on the phone, even if you want to.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think a lot
yeah,
of people underestimate handheld gaming, Switch, Steam Deck, mobile phones. Like it's growing bigger and bigger, especially in uh, Asian countries too. But like Nintendo Switch, for example, I have one. Even though I don't use it, I have one. Like it's actually a pretty common console that you can find in most households. I think people are hesitant on releasing horror games because Nintendo itself doesn't really do many horror games, and they always have this family friendly brand. But I always tell them like, no, there are horror games on Switch. You can just go look for yourself. There's actually a lot of them. It's not like Nintendo's blocking access to like games with gore or violence or whatnot.
yeah, no,
Sure, they maybe do some policing sometimes, but I think that's like you gotta put something really effed up for them to butt in.
yeah, may
Otherwise,
have a story about it.
yeah.
um, yeah, it's there's a lot of horror games. There's all the games pretty much that are coming out on Steam. I can find them in the Nintendo store as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, one game they rejected from me
Yeah.
recently. I wanted to put this Martyrdom, which is a game about torture,
Yeah.
and they were like, "We we're
Hmm.
gonna use our right to not publish this." I was like, "Okay, yeah, fine. I guess this is too much."
Did they give you
It
the
was just
exact
more gore.
reason?
Yeah, I think it was just because of like it's pretty much gore
Mm.
horror game all throughout. It's you yourself go and torture someone. Like it's not you don't see the visuals really, but there's like screams and there's like implications. So yeah, that was just a bit too much, I suppose. Um, but yeah, in general, there's a lot of horror games. There's so many games coming out on Nintendo Switch, from horror games to all the mainstream to whatever brain rot slop. There's everything there now.
Hmm. And
Um,
just like in game dev in general, porting has become also more accessible and kind of simpler. And even if you don't work with a publisher, there are tons of porting services, I guess, that you can find. Like if you really can't do it yourself, if you can't get a dev kit, it, at least those are a good alternative.
yeah, I think there are some companies that do that.
Yeah, yeah.
I just don't have experience with that, but I've seen some games on the store that are like published by a certain, like some names that are um, like a publisher but not a developer, let's say.
Yeah, they're just a middleman. And was it difficult for you to get a dev kit for Switch?
Well, I think you kind of have to present a project, kind of what you're about, and then Nintendo has to approve you, and it got approved, and then you just purchase the dev kit, they send it to you, um, which is like I think it was like 600 or something
Yeah.
dollars, or six and a half. Um, and yeah, then you just figure out how to do the porting. There's so much software, there's so much little details. You, you just start your game and it's just black screen crashes and you don't know why. And then you invested in this dev kit and you don't know how are you going to do this by yourself. What's the problem? But you have to figure it out.
Hey, time for you to learn something new then
Yeah.
by
But
figuring
then
it
yeah,
out.
it's worth it if once you figured everything out.
Yeah.
Um,
And now that you have a Switch too, I think even more people will be interested in the console?
Yeah, that's also that because it's the same Nintendo store. So all the games I put on the Switch, they're also on Switch too in the digital store.
And I'm guessing
So
the dev kit also works with Switch too, right?
yeah, it's just I think it's pretty much Switch 2 is more powerful. So if it works on the Switch 1, it works on the second, the new one as well. I maybe there are some like little details that can be a problem, but I don't think I ran into any of them yet. Yeah, it's like players just have different platforms that they like to play the games on, and if you're putting your games, let's say, on just one, then there's just a lot of people who are not going to discover your games at all just because they don't use itch.io or Steam or something.
Yeah. Obviously, there's a bigger audience on PC for indie games, but that has been changing rapidly in the past few years. More people are interested in indie games now, especially after we see so many new notable indie releases, horror or not horror. Now more people have their eyes and ears open for indie games. So definitely, if you have the means to use and port your game to a console, do it. Absolutely do it. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, indie games really went all out now. So many appearing on the big like game awards, let's say, or big events like that. You just see indie games everywhere now. It's like a high ceiling of like you can be really really successful, and at the same time it's like hard to achieve that. But there's always possibilities now. I feel like it's just bigger than ever.
All right. I think this is a good point to stop. Vidas, did you have anything that you wanted to say to the listeners, to tell them? We already talked about what you're doing next, but maybe something specific that you want to tell them, or maybe an advice to the game devs. Just the stage is yours.
Advice to game devs: yeah, give me another hour. Yeah, for game developers, it's just enjoy what you're doing. Do it for the right reasons, not for numbers or something. It really shows in the end project. Which game has been driven by passion or by just someone trying to get it done as soon as possible. Yeah, and in general, I'm just always really appreciative of all the players playing my games or horror games in general, or making horror games. Because I'm a game developer, but also I'm a player, so I'm excited about all the new projects from other developers or other content creators, like such as yourself. It's just somewhere I have to see what's new coming out, what's exciting, and a lot of the time I see them on your channels or your accounts on social media. Yeah, yes, I'm just excited about everything, and I hope everyone else is just as excited.
Oh yeah, always good to hear you, and always good to hear excitement about making games. I didn't have any doubts about how passionate you were about making games, but now it's like validated, because we never spoke face to face before, or like in voice before, and I just knew you from the developer profile, right, from your games, and now it's like validated in my head. Okay, yeah, this guy's in it for the love of the game. He's gonna keep making for probably like 50 games a year, and thank God for that. Looking forward to the next one, man. You know me. I'm here. I'm gonna play it, absolutely. And now that I'm streaming, I will probably stream it too. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll be sure to send you some games. And yeah, passionate about games and passionate now about pizza as well. I think that's a good step up in my life as a professional now.
After I played it, I genuinely wanted to get pizza, man. But I gotta be careful about.
There was a warning. There was a warning. You've been warned. You might get hungry.
Yeah.
I hope you did.
Pepperoni is my favorite pizza too. Like, no, I didn't because I gotta be careful about what I'm eating these days. But pepperoni pizza, yeah. All right, man. It was great talking with you, and we will probably do this again after you release maybe 50 more games, and we sit down and talk about it again and see. It will be funny to see how indie game dev is going to evolve in the next year or so, because I think it is still rapidly evolving and things are changing. People's interests are changing, just like how people were interested in jump scares, but nowadays not much. But nowadays people are more interested in psychological horror, but now that's changing and going back to gameplay first. So it will be fun to sit down and talk maybe in a year or so and compare how things have changed. But thank you for accepting the invite and being here in the third episode after the return of Game Dev is Not Easy. And I hope our listeners also enjoy this conversation and find something from it that's gonna help them. That's always the goal here for game devs, for players, for anybody who's going to listen to this. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you on the next one. You can find all of the links below, including of course Vidas' links, his Patreon, his social medias, his Steam page, everything you can find below. And I will see you.
Thank you.
Next one. Bye, Vidas. Thank you.
Bye.